Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inappropriate Movie Database, the comedy game show about content warnings. I'm your host, Nick Martucci. Here we are, breaking off the next 100 episodes of this dumb show. I'm so happy you're here watching. I'm so happy I've got a wonderful group of people with me right now. Before we get to it, like I just said, we just celebrated the 100th episode a couple of days ago. If you missed that after this, go watch that. That was a lot of fun. And then watch the other 99 episodes. A few of them are a lot of fun. I can't believe there's been this many. I can't believe we're still doing this. And I'm so happy we're still doing this. This is continues to be just a highlight after highlight every week I do it. And we have another month of shows coming up real soon. So if you're watching this and you want to be a part of the show, go right now to the Facebook page. If you search Inappropriate Movie Database or click the link in the description of this video and join that group, and follow on Twitter and Instagram at IMDb Game. I'm going to start booking for next month within the next week because I have to. If you want to be a part, reach out in any of those places. I would love to have you on. I love having new people on this show. I love having old friends on this show as well. And that's what we have tonight. Tonight, it's just a real stacked group of people. I feel like it's going to get real competitive tonight. Right before we get to that, I'm edging and they don't know if they're supposed to talk. Right before we get to that, what's going to happen tonight is we're doing movies starring SNL cast members, past and present. We've done a couple of these recently where it's movies starring a group of people. Turns out there are a lot of movies with people who were on SNL. So I really narrowed it down and made sure that these are movies starring somebody. This is face on the poster, name on the poster kind of starring roles. It's likely that there are other SNL cast members also in those movies, but we're focused on the main ones. I feel like that might help. I don't know how any of these fine folks feel about Saturday Night Live and the people who have been on it. And I think I should learn that by bringing them into this show. Joining me on the show tonight are Amma Marfo, Arianna Magee, Jere Pilapil, and Lloyd Legacy Sharp. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
I think let's start off with probably the most competitive person on this roster tonight. Lloyd Legacy Sharp is back.
Oh, it's a good one.
You like that?
Yeah.
Welcome back, Lloyd.
Thank you. It's been a long 72 hours and you did this again.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so sad when 3 days passed and I don't see you. We've got a pretty good run going, you and I.
Yes, we do. Needs to keep up.
How are you doing tonight, Lloyd?
Well, unlike my current lighting, I'm actually not feeling so blue tonight.
Aha! Classic. Now, you were on the show of movie starring wrestlers. You were on the show of movie starring musicians. Now you're on this show. How are you a fan of Saturday Night Live?
Well, I'm a fan of, God. Let me put it like this. I'm a fan of Saturday Night Live in the same way that I'm a fan of professional wrestling. More the old stuff. The new stuff, touch and go. Don't keep up with it as often. Mm-hmm. But I will say that Saturday Night Live is one of my favorite long-running comedy type shows that I think has maintained some level of quality as long as it's been on, even if the quality is dipped every now and then. I will say this, I don't know how I'm going to fare on this particular show because my knowledge of SNL characters in movies will largely depend on the era that I'm most familiar with.
Well, I will say that these aren't necessarily SNL movies. And also, there's quite a few of these movies that star people who were on SNL after they starred in these movies. So this is all over the place.
Broad, yes.
Well, what's your error? When do you think the best?
I am within my time. I'd say I'm a big fan of late 80s to early 2000s, because that's around the time when I was like watching fairly religiously.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've
also gone back before my time, and I actually enjoy the stuff that came before I got here on Earth almost the most.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like I know people have love for like that first 5 seasons, but if you go back and try to watch those episodes, we remember the really good sketches. But if you think SNL doesn't know how to end a sketch now, you haven't watched them fumble around for 15 minutes trying to find a joke.
Yeah. Which is almost the car crash syndrome that I actually enjoy about it. I'm like, wow. Look at them fucking up on national television.
I mean, that's the thing. There are a lot of very valid criticisms about the show, but it's still a magic trick what they do. The fact that they can compile 90 minutes of a comedy show in a week over and over again for over 40 years now, almost 50 years. That's amazing.
They kept playing. This is what a General Hospital did.
That's true. Like I've seen almost every new episode since like 2003, 2004 is when I started watching the live ones. So basically an entire length of a Kenan Thompson tenure. Do you have a favorite cast member or somebody that you think is in your top?
You know, you just mentioned Kenan Thompson, and before he was in your era of SNL, I grew up with that guy on Kenan and Kel.
Kenan and Kel fucking holds up.
So to see Kenan, I'm not going to say that Kenan Thompson is my favorite SNL performer based on SNL, but Kenan Thompson is like my Dwayne Johnson. Before he became the bigger star that he was, I grew up with him in this little niche area of entertainment, and then he went on to do so many things after he was done with that he's just become my favorite overall star from that niche period by default. Yeah. So because of Kenan and Kel, straight on to everything else he did, I'm going to say Kenan Thompson.
I mean, perfect show. That guy, he's 42 and has been doing stuff my whole life. I've been a fan of his since I've been watching anything. Back from I don't know the stars in this movie, so I will say it and not ruin a movie. Back in D2, The Mighty Ducks. That kid has been working.
Yep. And heavyweights. We got to talk
heavyweights.
And heavyweights.
And heavyweights.
He was working before Kenan and Kel, after Kenan and Kel, during the Kenan and Kel. He's one of those guys that you can't really tie to any particular thing because he's done so much. Whereas Kel is just a guy that loved orange soda and kind of was a neighbor on a show that nobody talks about. And then there's that.
Also, don't discount Mystery Men. Kel is great in Mystery.
I would never.
Fair.
Never. It's so good. It's so
fair.
good.
Fair. That's fair.
Well, I think I should jump to her next. It's long overdue that she's back on the show. The last time she was on the show was the last live in-person show we did. I'm so happy that she's finally returning. Amma Marfo is back. Hey, Amma.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to get this going. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I see you have a background and theme and everything.
Yes, I came prepared. I'm on the SNL stage.
Are you? I have to assume you're a fan of the show.
I am. Yeah, I grew up watching it with my parents. Like that was something we would do Saturday nights. Sometimes I would play Scrabble with my dad while we watched. So it's like a thing if we're all together and it's a Saturday and we can watch it. We try to do
that. What would you say is your era? That era, or do you think it's changed over the years?
You know, I remember reading somewhere that everyone feels like the era that they grew up with it was the era that was the best. So in that regard, it kind of like fluxes a little bit. And like the age that I was like really impressionable about comedy was like the Farrell, Meadows, Molly Shannon era. And I do really love that. But like forward a little bit, you then get into like Will Forte, Bill Hader, Andy Samberg. Maya Rudolph kind of spans both of those. And I would say Maya Rudolph is probably one of my favorites. And then Bill Hader he's taken some cool turns. And it's just been really exciting to see what he could do.
He really has one of the most interesting like bodies of work of any former cast member.
And he just seems like a fascinating guy. Like I'm like, I feel like I would love to hang out with him.
His instincts are great, his writing's great, and then I still love the fact it's, you know, SNL in the late 2000s and he's bringing in Alan Alda impressions and they're perfect.
Yeah, like I was watching Edward Scissorhands the other night, and like Edward Scissorhands stands alone and it doesn't need like other references, but then as soon as you see Vincent Price, I think of the Vincent Price Halloween specials he used to do, and then I got all distracted, but like that's such a him thing to do, is just be like, what if we pick someone that no one has talked about in like 30 years and they're going to be here and I'm going to be amazing at it.
What also makes him one of the best like all-time cast members is how like you could put him in anything. He's great at character work. He's great at impressions, and then is the perfect straight man. Yeah, I still don't think that they found like, aside from Keenan, because Keenan can do anything too. Like Bill Hader used to own the game show host role that I feel like they haven't quite found anybody who can do it like he did.
Yeah,
he's sort of. I mean, he's real close, I think, to like a Phil Hartman. He might be the closest that the show got to a Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman.
I think there's definitely something to that. Like in the sense of when Phil Hartman left, it was kind of like, well, what is he going to do? And like the next thing that he did was amazing, which was news radio. And like, I feel like for different reasons, like Bill Hader left and then like did Barry, which is insanely good, but so different. And like, gosh, he's great. Yeah, he and Maya are my favorites.
And Maya also, I'm so like, Maya is so great at sketch comedy that it sucks that there isn't like another outlet for that.
Yeah, and like, and she's found other ways to kind of like stay in.
A lot of No, go ahead.
No, I agree with you in the sense of like, what do you, like, if you're really good in that format, there's a finite number of other places for you to go, right? So she's forged like a number of other different types of things that she's really good at. And it's just, I just feel like anything she attacks, she just ends up being amazing at. And I was like, this too? How?
Yeah. Though I will say, Big Mouth is an amazing use of her.
Finally got her Emmy, so
absolutely,
it was time.
Excellent choice. Also returning to the show, feels like it's been a while. Arianna Magee's back. Hey, Arianna.
Hello.
I always love I love having you on in general. The second part that I love having you on with is always seeing just the tiny DeVito over your shoulder. You've just got a perfect Zoom setup.
Awesome. Thank you. I tried.
Are you an SNL fan? I hope so. I'm asking everybody this question and realizing it's going to be weird if you say you hate it.
Yeah, I fucking hate SNL. No, I think that it's really hit or miss. But I always hold out hope, and I always watch.
Do you have an era that you think is your favorite?
Yes, early 90s. For sure.
Again, just a stacked cast of people.
So stacked.
And especially at that point, it, putting this show together and seeing who had big movie careers and who didn't. That era in particular produced some of the most movie stars, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Those are that era. Those are all the movies I know.
Well, they do pop up here a lot. Do you have a favorite cast member?
Norm Macdonald.
Excellent choice. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Indeed.
Just did you see the new Netflix special?
Not yet, but I'm saving it for a special moment.
No, I just go through and just look up compilations of his Weekend Update, because I really they could use somebody at the desk again who really doesn't give a shit about what they're doing.
It's really something else.
Not all of it holds up, but what does is some just amazing writing. And the fact that he just kept on with the OJ jokes, even though, was it president of NBC told him those needed to end?
Unrelenting.
Finally returning to the show also feels like it's been too long since he's been on. Jere Pilapil's back. Hey, Jere.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'm, ready to get back into remembering movies.
Yeah, you, one of the better players at this game. Yeah. So it's always, I feel like we've had, real fun episodes, but maybe not real movie knowledge heavy episodes recently. I'm real thrilled to see what you all do.
Yeah.
How do you feel about SNL?
I like it a lot. I think I'm kind of with Amma in the way that it's like, I think people, whatever era they like glom onto as kids or whatever is like their favorite, and they kind of forget that there was bad stuff in that era too. It's more or less consistent. To quote Lloyd, I also think of it like pro wrestling. It's kind of just amazing that they can do that every week for however long it's been, 40, 50 years or whatever,
So would you say you agree that the era you grew up with is your favorite era?
Kind of. Like, I watched a lot of the Phil Hartman, Mike Myers, Chris Farley era when like it was in reruns. By the time I watched it, like I think, and at the time I think like the current cast at the time would have been like Will Ferrell, Maya Rudolph, Amy Poehler, and all those. So like there was like a nice period where like the new stuff was amazing, and also old stuff that was on Comedy Central at like 2 p.m. on weekends would be like also great. So that's where I kind of come in. That's the older stuff is like my favorite.
Oh yeah, no, that was the same for me. I started watching live, and then Comedy Central and VH1 were playing reruns of SNL at the time. And also what makes those shows seem like they're so much better is that they cut them down to an hour.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, real great. I mean, I go back to it. I think one of my favorite SNL sketches is one I never hear anybody talk about, but it's from that Will Ferrell era. It's Dr. Beeman's Office.
Which one's that?
It is Will Ferrell as a doctor who brings in Molly Shannon and Chris Parnell. They have a baby and they want updates about that baby.
Yes, I remember that one.
And Tim Meadows shows up as Dr. Poop. And it is just a class in absurdity. And nobody ever seems to like it as much as I do, but
no, it's the
it
one
just
where
reminded me.
He lost the baby at the boating concert. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Because like Molly Shannon is losing it, and Chris Parnell is like locked in. I will go with you to the end. It was insanely good.
Well, everybody but Chris Parnell is breaking in that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
just the delivery of "We lost your baby." Do you have a favorite cast member, Jere?
Phil Hartman.
Absolutely.
Someone that's colored because I've been rewatching News Radio lately, but like,
me too.
Yeah,
nice.
He was like a, not to get too dark and deep, but just a star who would have continued and got so much bigger, and had he had that opportunity, he's another guy that would have like gone into some real weird drama, I think, afterward, in the way that, like, you know, Bill Hader has Barry. I think Phil Hartman would have killed some like real sinister shit.
Yes.
No, excellent choices all around. Thank you all for being here.
I have one more comment.
What's that?
Before we get started, because I don't want to interrupt later. But Kenan Thompson being one of my favorite SNL presents, all that was the show that he came from before he started Kenan and Kel. And I have to say, there were times where I enjoyed all that a little during the era that I watched it, where I was as a child. Keep that in mind, 10, 11, 12 years old. All that more than SNL for like a year or two.
No, that was my introduction to sketch comedy, was that show.
I have to admit that.
And I think one of the things that really made me push to watch Kenan's first season of SNL when I was, I don't know, I had to be 13 or 14 when that started. And it's like, oh, Kenan is on SNL now.
It's crazy.
Also, if you, I don't know if anybody remembers it, there is an All That sketch that Kenan used to do, where he was just hosted a cooking show all about chocolate. And one of them has Chris Farley come in as a guy who loves ketchup. And it is, I mean, it's hyper coked out Chris Farley, but it is wonderful to watch.
It was one of Farley's last TV appearances. If not the last. It was it might be the last one. And it was amazing. He was amazing.
He's another one. If he had gotten the chance, I think would have done some real cool, weird shit later on. Because, I mean, that's the thing with a lot of great comedians, is they have that little bit of sadness in them that you're like, oh, I can see just, the soul escape you every time you speak.
And when it comes to all that, I feel like we got more than enough of that from Amanda Bynes.
Oh.
I mean, again, real fuck. This is just going to keep getting dark if we keep talking about Nickelodeon and Saturday Night Live. So. Let's jump to the game. If this is your first time watching, here's what's going to happen tonight. I have gone to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I have pulled parental warnings for a bunch of movies starring SNL cast members. These warnings, we don't know who writes them, just anonymous weirdos. Still haven't gotten in touch with anything. Missed the 100th episode. Guess I'll never talk to them. But I'm so happy they do what they do, because we get to do this show. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read these parental warnings. My friends here are going to try to figure out what movie these warnings are from. And we are already like almost a half hour into the show, so let's get this started. To do that, Amma, you get to choose first. Would you like a movie from 1987, 2008, or 2013?
2008, please.
2008. First movie of the night from 2008 for 5 points under the category of violence and gore. Please note that this is a satire, and all the really graphic violence is taken very lightly or presented in a comical and slapstick fashion. The serious segments aren't so graphic. All right, for 4 points under the category of alcohol, drugs, and smoking, several characters are seen smoking cigars and cigarettes, including an underage child.
Wow. Lawrence, Massachusetts, the movie.
For 3 points under sex and nudity, a soda product is named Booty Sweat. Amma has a guess. Anybody else? Amma, what do you... Oh, hold on. Jere, what do you think this movie is?
Is it Baby Mama? No, I think.
Amma, what do you think?
Tropic Thunder.
It is not Baby Mama. Bill Hader's in this movie, a real early role for Bill Hader, but it stars two SNL cast members, Ben Stiller and Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Also, we get to rip the Band-Aid off real early. Robert Downey Jr., 1 year on SNL.
Right.
One of the weirdest casts they've ever had. It was him, Anthony Michael Hall, Joan Cusack, Randy Quaid.
Was that the Julie Louis-Dreyfus year?
I think it might have been the year right before.
She was after that.
Yeah.
Also in Tropic Thunder, under violence and gore, a character steps on a landmine and is blown to bits in a slightly gory explosion. His severed head is prominently featured and played with like a toy. All is done for comedic effect. And frightening and intense scenes, although the war scenes are quite intense, they are all played for laughs, taking most of the intensity and seriousness out of them. Amma is in the lead with 3 points. Arianna and Lloyd at 0. Jere at -1. Arianna, would you like a movie from 1985, 2003, or 2018?
2003, please.
2003. From 2003 for 5 points, under alcohol, drugs, and smoking. A man is seen smoking in prison.
Really narrows it down.
For 4 points, under frightening and intense scenes, a man feels heartbroken and depressed after another man shouts at him in a furious tone. This might quite sad for most of the audience.
What was the first clue?
A man is seen smoking while in prison.
It's the only clue you need. That one right there.
For 3 points, under sex and nudity, main male character wears rather thin and sometimes revealing tights throughout the film. Jere has a guess. Anybody else? Jere, what do you think this movie is?
This Elf?
This is the Will Ferrell holiday classic, Elf.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
How did I not know that?
Also an Elf, under frightening and intense scenes, there are 2 infamous scenes in which a man is shown eating a plate full of grotesque-looking spaghetti with candy and sugar covered on top. While not particularly frightening, it's still very gross and disturbing to watch. And sex and nudity, Santa gives the main character advice about New York City and that a peep show isn't about seeing presents before Christmas. I'm still in the lead with 3 points. Jere now at 2. Arianna and Lloyd 0 each. Jere, we got a pretty small range here for you, but would you like a movie from 2010, 2012, or 2016?
2012.
2012. From 2012 for 5 points, under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, people are shown drinking alcohol in a bar. A man and a woman drink wine with a meal. A woman drinks wine. A man drinks alcohol from a bottle and opens another one when it's finished.
Damn. Habits.
For 4 points, under sex and nudity, a man goes to the hotel room of another man who opens the door wearing a costume and holding a drink. The man invites him in suggestively, and the other man leaves. For 3 points, under violence and gore, 2 men struggle and fight. One man shoves the other man onto the floor where he lies motionless, and the man then punches the motionless man in the face several times until he is unconscious and places duct tape over his mouth.
Nice.
First time we're getting to the 2-point clue under sex and nudity. A husband enters a hotel room where his wife is waiting for him, wearing a leather bra, panties, and knee-high boots. The husband pulls off his shirt and the wife removes his pants. She handcuffs him behind his back and then asks him to tell her what he wants, and pleads with him to talk dirty to her. He does not speak.
Wow, what a finish.
All right, final clue for 1 point under profanity. Other mild language. It's not really that strong, since the general premise of the movie is that of a man who can only speak a certain number of words before dying. Amma has a guess. Anybody else? Amma, what do you think this movie is?
Is Stranger Than Fiction?
It is not Stranger Than Fiction.
Good boy.
I feel like I've been doing this a lot lately, and I want to keep doing it. We're going to do a final bonus clue. Everybody hands down. Hand up as soon as you think you know it. I'm going to give it to the first person who can guess correctly. If anybody. This might be a hard one. This movie stars Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
Well, I guess, Amma, what do you think?
Is this called 1,000 Words?
This is called 1,000 Words. Completely forgettable movie because they hired Eddie Murphy, known for his fast talk and wit, to not speak throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't blame anybody for not getting that. But that popped up and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that movie.
That's how I felt hearing the clue. I don't remember the name, but I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah.
Well, all the scores remain the same, but Amma worked hardest for her 0. Lloyd, would you like a movie from 1985, 1999, or 2000?
Wow. I got 2 choices from the end of the freaking century. 1985, please.
1985. From 1985 for 5 points under violence and gore. A woman hits a man in the crotch with her knee out of anger.
Hell yeah! Ow! Take it back.
4 points under frightening and intense scenes. The characters are served a dinner in which the main course is later revealed to be something some viewers may find disgusting. For 3 points under violence and gore, a gun is used to shoot at various things in the house, including a door lock and chandeliers. One man is slightly wounded by one shot.
Oh, shoot.
This is 95? 90.
85.
85, Jesus Christ.
For 2 points under violence and gore, a man is shot at, pretends to be dead, and is later bashed on the head with a candlestick. His corpse depicts a lot of blood on his forehead.
Why is it these parts that are sounding familiar?
All right, we'll go to the 1 point clue under frightening and intense scenes. The movie is a black comedy / murder mystery. While the tone is comedic, many characters die by being shot, stabbed, and strangled. Non-graphic. Just seeing Amma and Jere. Arianna, Lloyd, you got nothing? Ariana's also going to take a guess. What do you think, Arianna?
Is it a National Lampoon Vacation?
Jere, what do you think?
I have no idea what SNL member would be in this cast, but I'm gonna guess Clue.
Amma, what do you think?
I'm also guessing Clue.
It is not National Lampoon's Vacation. Not a murder mystery. But yeah, this is the first movie to feature a cast member pre-SNL. This is Michael McKean as Mr. Green in Clue. Amma still in the lead with 4 points. Jere at 3, Lloyd at 0, Arianna at -1.
Should have gone with 2000.
My roommate just came in and was like, "You couldn't hear me, but I was saying Clue."
Amma, we're back up to you. Would you like a movie from 1997, 2012, or 2015?
1997, please.
1997. From 1997 for 5 points. Arianna, do you already have a guess?
Yeah, you can do the clue, but
I will have to do the clue, but 2 of you already have guesses. First clue for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. The sequence of the restaurant's destruction can be frightening for younger viewers. Jere, Lloyd, did that help at all? Well, I'm going to go in reverse order this time just because you both rang in early. Arianna, what do you think this movie is?
National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation.
Amma, what do you think?
I'm going to guess Austin Powers.
It is not Vegas Vacation. It is not Austin Powers.
Okay.
Shock and horror.
For 4 points under sex and nudity, a man says to his employees that he is both their mother and father. And a character utters a joke, quote, "He must look awfully strange naked," in response.
Jesus Christ. These clues, man.
Also just checking the chat, Scoot also had Clue. I don't know why Clue wasn't more obvious.
Because I shouldn't have picked 1985, that's why.
For 3 points under violence and gore, a character attacks employees with ketchup and mustard guns for comedic effect.
I'm starting to feel like I should know what this is.
Yep.
Jere, oh, hold on. Amma, what do you think? Oh, Amma, what do you think this movie is?
Good Burger.
Oh,
Second movie featuring a pre-SNL cast member. It's Kenan Thompson in Good Burger.
What I was gonna guess.
Saw that in theaters recently.
if there was a movie I was gonna get tonight, that would be it. Why am I even here?
Yeah, we got to an All That movie before we got to an SNL movie on this show.
That's fun. Oh, wow.
It was a verbal gap, but I'm gonna go with it.
No, there's a lot of legitimately funny stuff in that movie still.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way anybody can watch their own butt.
I think my favorite line is just the delivery of at the end of the movie, Dexter is ripping up their contract because he's tried to get Ed's money. It's like, I just don't think we should have this contract anymore. And Ed says, "Is it because I'm black?"
which, given the time period, under most circumstances, would be a very appropriate question.
And then a classic Keenan not being able to finish sentences of, well, no, because I'm.
Yeah.
Why?
Also in Good Burger, under Sex and Nudity, a shapely woman in a tight-fitting short dress tries to seduce one of the characters for his secret sauce recipe. When she enters the restaurant, a man stares at her butt. She then tells the main character, quote, "You're so hot," and "I'm hungry, but not for food. I'm hungry for you." Later, she tells him, "I'll give you anything you want in exchange for the recipe." Weird Carmen Electra sighting in that movie.
Yep.
Oh.
Hi,
And-
kids.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. The villains were implied to be using an illegal chemical to enlarge their burgers, as well as using a synthetic toxin for a main character's sauce to sabotage business. Amma has extended her lead to 6, Jere at 3, Lloyd at 0, Arianna at -2. Arianna, would you like a movie from 1983, 1998, or 2013?
98, please.
98. The year after Good Burger came out. From 1998, for 5 points under Sex and Nudity, a couple have sex while conversing. Some awkward moaning.
These clues, man. All the money.
For 4 points under Alcohol, Drugs, and Smoking, some drinking in nightclubs in a few separate scenes. Amma, what do you think this movie is?
Is this A Night at the Roxbury?
Now we're getting to the SNL movie. It is Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan in A Night at the Roxbury.
I wouldn't have guessed that. Should have guessed Good Burger.
Oh, Scoot is Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Spoiler alert for last night, but Jessica did real well.
Nice.
Also in Night at the Roxbury, Alcohol, Drugs, and Smoking, the guys rapidly and exaggeratedly wipe their noses, perhaps as if they just snorted drugs, but we don't see them doing that. Violence and gore, a man accidentally breaks the glass of the passenger side door from his repeated head bobbing. And Violence and Gore, the brothers accidentally knock down their partners and others while wildly dancing on the dance floor. Amma is now in a commanding lead with 10 points. Jere at 3, Lloyd at 0, Arianna at -2. Where are we? Jere, would you like a movie from 1980, 2005, or 2011?
Let's do 1980.
1980.
If let them ages don't fuck you.
For 5 points under Sex and Nudity, in the pool, there is a topless woman sitting on top of a man's shoulders.
Fridays.
Actually.
Okay. For 4 points under Alcohol, Drugs, and Smoking, some cannabis smoking, some cigarette smoking, some drinking. One character vomits after drinking an alcoholic beverage with a cigarette in it. One character confesses to taking drugs every day. Another affirms such daily drug taking.
Yeah, the 70s definitely just ended.
Arianna, what do you think this movie is?
I don't know who the SNL cast member is, but is this a Cheech and Chong?
I feel like I want to ask you to be more specific, but I also just want to say this isn't a Cheech and Chong.
Well,
For 3 points under sex and nudity, one man shouts, quote, "Hey, everybody, we're going to get laid." Jere has buzzed in. Arianna, are you still buzzed in, or are you...
no,
okay.
sorry. I just forgot to lower my hand.
Anybody else?
I wish I knew.
Jere, what do you think this movie is?
That's Caddyshack, baby.
Chevy Chase and Bill Murray in Caddyshack.
Oh, man. It might have clicked if I hadn't seen that movie for the first time 17 years later.
Oh, upset.
Also in Caddyshack, under frightening and intense scenes, a Lutheran bishop gets struck by lightning. A yacht barely eludes other boaters before crashing into a docked sailboat. A golf course is blown up. And Violence and Gore, a man tries ruthlessly to kill the gophers at the golf course. At one point, he puts explosives down all of the gopher holes. As a result, they all blow up and part of the course sets on fire. It's actually a rather funny scene and cartoonish in nature, and nobody gets hurt.
Here's the sad part. That clue would have done it for me.
Yep. Yep.
Again, I hope that for the most part, the 1 point clue does it for you. It doesn't always work out that way, but Amma is at 10, Jere at 6, Lloyd at 0, Arianna at -3. Lloyd, would you like a movie from 1984, 2006, or 2015?
I ain't going with the 80s no more. 2006.
2006. From 2006 for 5 points under Violence and Gore. A mild amount of violence. One fist fight shows a cut with a small amount of blood. For 4 points under sex and nudity. No nudity, but a monkey does urinate in a short scene.
How topical.
Jere, what do you think this movie is?
Could this be Talladega Nights, story of Ricky Bobby?
This is not Talladega Nights.
Wild Swing.
For 3 points under profanity. This is a long one. One use of tit, which would have been shit if the main character did not get shot in the mouth by a tiny splinter. One use of hell. One use of kick ass. Name calling like Weirdy, Lunchbox, Snack Shack, Hopscotch, Dum Dum, Cracker Jack, Blondie, Butterscotch, Fathead, Gigantor, Freak, Teeny, Baby, Hot Dog, Old Man, Cupcake, Hot Shot. 2 exclamations like dang, geez, Bobby Cock and Bully, and 1 religious exclamation.
Blondie.
All of that's profanity.
They don't rant. Don't rant.
All right, for 2 points under Violence and Gore. A T-Rex skeleton chases a horse-drawn carriage. A remote control car slips and explodes after running over a snowdrift. We are led to believe that the 2 men inside the car have died. And a man is thrown off the carriage and into snow when the horses stop short. Jere, what do you think this movie is?
Night at the Museum.
It's the second Night of movie. This is Ben Stiller in A Night at the Museum. Ben Stiller getting a lot of play for somebody who I think starred on SNL for 6 episodes before he quit.
That's as much as he deserves for being in a movie where Blondie is considered profane.
So is Butterscotch, Lloyd. Also in Night at the Museum, under frightening and intense scenes, the whole prospect of wax humans and statues coming to life might scare younger viewers. Amma still at 10. Jere catching up at 7. Lloyd has yet to buzz in. Arianna at -3.
Blondie's not profane.
We are speeding through this game.
And Stiller didn't say it was profane. The anonymous commenter said it.
Yeah.
We have one more go around left, 4 more movies, one more for each of you. Amma, would you like a movie from 1984, 1996, or 2014?
1996, please.
1996. From 1996 for 5 points under sex and nudity. During a montage, spandex boys and girls were seen exercising.
Oh God, I'm gonna kill myself.
For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, the transformation scenes might be frightening to younger viewers. Jere has a guess. Anybody else? Jere, what do you think this movie is?
Nutty Professor?
It is a more famous Eddie Murphy movie this time. This is The Nutty Professor.
Good call. Good call.
Also in The Nutty Professor, for 3 points under sex and nudity, there are 2 scenes when a stand-up comedian tells dirty jokes. Another man tells some dirty jokes as well. Weird Dave Chappelle sighting in that movie. Frightening and intense scenes. In the main character's bad dream, he turns into a ramping, hungry giant who could terrify some younger viewers. On the other hand, it's played for laughs. And profanity, people tease the main character because he's overweight. Jere has overtaken the lead now at 11 points. Amma right behind at 10. Lloyd is here. Arianna has -3. Arianna, would you like a movie from 1989, 2003, or 2022?
89, please.
89. $1989 for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. Some supernatural scenes, whilst brief and infrequent, may scare younger viewers. For 4 points under violence and gore. One of my favorite sentences.
Boy.
Oh boy.
The imagery that comes up in one's mind during the explanation of the main antagonist's backstory and how he died previously could be considered too gruesome for some viewers. Again, the ideas you think might be too gruesome. Be prepared. Jere, what do you think this movie is?
Ghostbusters 2?
Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ghostbusters 2.
How did he go from?
I should have just guessed because I was there. Okay.
That's why he's Jere. He's just good. He's good at this game. Where he just show up.
Also in Ghostbusters 2, under frightening and intense scenes, the entire plot of abducting a baby and possessing it could be a frightening thought for some viewers and parents to be. Frightening and intense scenes. At one point, the Statue of Liberty, with the main characters in it, steps on a police car. It's unclear if any policemen are in the car at the time, but it's unlikely, as this would be accusing the protagonists of homicide.
Oh, I'll never forget that.
Yeah. And frightening and intense scenes, the appearance of some of the ghosts, such as the 3 severed head ghosts in the sewer, could be frightening for some viewers, especially for younger viewers.
Yeah.
Jere pulling ahead even more now at 15. Amma at 10. Lloyd and Arianna is at -3.
Lloyd, it's just nice to see you.
Always nice to see Lloyd. 2 movies remain. Jere, you get to pick this year. Would you like a movie from 1985, 2000, or 2016?
2016.
2016.
Oh boy.
Penultimate movie from 2016 for 5 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking. In a flashback scene of a character, he drinks some beer and says, "Drinks on me, guy." Well, he throws money and everyone cheers. For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, there are several references to The Shining. For 3 points under sex and nudity, a character shows his ass to a baby in order to give a proof for being late.
Okay.
I want to read it again. A character shows his ass to a baby in order to give a proof of being late.
Didn't need that in syndication, but good to know.
For 2 points under violence and gore, characters attack a city of pigs, and some pigs die off screen.
Oh, Lord. Or should I say, oh, Lord?
You should say that. All right, final clue for 1 point under frightening and intense scenes. This person has some opinions. Based on characters from the video game series of the same title, this movie, in 3D, God forbid, is an animation that revolves around 3 unpopular characters who meet at an anger management course. While learning to manage their anger issues, they realize that a group of green pigs are stealing eggs from them. Together, they need to work together to invade the pigs' island and rescue the eggs. I see Jere and Arianna. Nothing, Amma or Lloyd? Lloyd, you're running out of chances to guess.
I know.
All right. And Arianna, what is this movie?
Angry Birds.
Jere, what is this movie?
Yeah, it's that Angry Birds movie.
Starring as Red, Jason Sudeikis in the Angry Birds movie.
Oh, I forgot he was in that.
I forgot he was in SNL.
How could you forget he's in SNL? Just another just utility player. You could throw him in anything.
Yep.
Underrated because he was on with Bill Hader and
Yeah.
Andy Samberg and I think Kristen Wiig. I think all 4 of them started around the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So doesn't get enough credit for how good he is.
He is now, but for other things. But he was also very good. He was very good on SNL. And
Yeah.
I think you kind of forget that.
1 movie remains, and unfortunately, very few things can change right now. Jere is in the lead with 16. Amma at 10. Lloyd, you have a chance to buzz in. Arianna has moved up to -2. Lloyd, you do get to pick this last movie. Would you like a movie from 2003, 2015, or 2022?
Ew, 2022, 2015.
All right. Final movie of the night from 2015 for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. There are scenes of water So people with aquaphobia might be frightened by this. Lloyd, what do you think?
The Titanic over 100 years later.
Okay. I'll give you. You've earned that -1, Lloyd. For 4 points under 6 in nudity. There's also an obvious puberty joke, as the main character says, quote, "As I grew up, my voice lowered and I grew fur." Lloyd's going for broke. I love it. Lloyd, what do you think?
Teenage Life, Hard Times, 2015.
What's that one about?
Hard Times as a teenager. Literally.
Just words.
If you say 2015, that means it came out that year. Whatever you say, whether it's real or not.
3 points under frightening and intense scenes. The main character is a bear having a chance to scare people with archotophobia.
What?
Lloyd, what have you got this time?
The Death of Smokey the Bear.
It's not the death of Smokey the Bear. Lloyd, if you guess wrong on all of these and then get it right, I would love that so much. So please do that. For 2 points under violence and gore, examples include a scene where a seal is eaten up by an orca, a scene where the lemmings chew at an electrical cable and end up getting electrocuted, and a scene where a character is caught by surprise when the Arctic ice starts to crack rapidly and breaks up. Just a bunch of confused faces and Lloyd going full Josh pick. Lloyd, what have you got?
Lemmings Getting Cold Feet and Die, the documentary.
It is Lemmings Getting Cold Feet and Die, the documentary. Final clue for 1 point under 6 and nudity. The titular character falls in love with a female polar bear who's barely in the movie. At the end of the movie, they have 3 cubs. Well, I have a feeling I'm going to give the bonus clue unless... Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go to Lloyd first. Lloyd, what have you got?
Yogi Bear Takes the South Pole.
I mean, Yogi Bear is a movie that stars an SNL cast member, but it's not Yogi Bear. What is this movie?
The only animated movie I can think of that has polar bears in it is Norm of the North, which I have not seen, but exists as a poster in my mind.
There are so many Norm of the North movies, and we are ending this SNL episode on a real disappointing choice. This is Rob Schneider as the titular Norm of the North. I think if people are interested, I think I have to do part 2 of this theme because I have so many movies and we got to some real bad ones. So I'd love to get to some of the good ones.
I was going to ask if you would do the 2022, but if there's another show, then I'll wait because I'm very curious. I think I know what that one is, but I'm not positive.
Once we go off, I will do that one.
Okay.
So that's a little teaser. I think. Again, look out. This might be on the list because I'm running out of ideas for themes. This might be on the list for July.
Well, I'm going to sign up for that one.
Yeah, I'm coming back to finish what we started.
I'm fired up.
Well, that was Norm of the North. This was Inappropriate Movie Database. Our final scores tonight. Lloyd Legacy Sharp with -5.
My word.
Arianna at -2. At 11. Jere running away with 16 points, making Jere the winner tonight. thank you all so much for doing this. This was a joy, and like I said, you should see the list of movies we didn't get to. It's basically every movie you thought I was going to use. We really jumped around this list. Before we go, if there is anything you want to promote, anywhere you want to be found, or just any last words, Lloyd, I'll start with you.
Can't say I didn't guess.
Can't we?
So I'm going to redact the previous promotional plug that I did for myself earlier this week. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I will actually not be appearing tomorrow night in Hampton, New Hampshire as Michael Legacy Jackson. So that's a cancellation of a plug from Monday, but that's where the socials come in. Follow me at Lloyd Legacy 617 on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter if you're into those things. If you're not, don't blame you. Stay pure. You can also find me at Lloyd Legacy Sharp on Facebook. And to find out where I'm going to be directly and not have to deal with all the other nonsense I put out there every day, according to some people, that being myself and my three friends in my head, you can follow the Legacy Tour update page specifically on Facebook. That's where I track everywhere I'm going to be, and that's where you can find everything that there's not enough time to explain right now. And I'm going to give it back to Nick so he can talk to somebody who actually matters.
How dare you? You are not ending your episode like that, Lloyd. Go follow Lloyd. He is one of my favorites. He should be one of your favorites. Also, the only contestant, I think, to ever do a unplug of something. So that's nice to have a new first on the show. Arianna.
All right, so my final words are, I'm better than this performance tonight. I'm really disappointed I didn't guess Clue. You can find me on Arianna Magee. That's most of my socials. Facebook's just plain old Arianna Magee. I'm going to be on the Weed Game Show, the stand-up portion, this Saturday in Worcester. So I'm excited. I have as many questions as you. Can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah, go follow Arianna, one of my favorite social media handles.
Oh, thank you.
Amma.
My social media handle is less interesting in that it is just my name, Amma Marfo, on Twitter and Instagram. And let's see, on Saturday, my comedy collective, Fodball Productions, is putting on a Pride show at All She Wrote Books in Somerville at 8:00, and a portion of our proceeds are going to Trans Resistance Mass. So come out. I'm not on the show. My job as an ally is to let our fully LGBTQ plus lineup shine, but it's going to be really fun. I'm excited for that. And then my online show, Pantry Raid, comes back in July, and it is now on Comedy Hub. So you'll be able to watch it on Twitch instead of just my regular YouTube channel.
Awesome. Yeah, go look at both of that. Another just wonderful stuff. Go look at all of that. Finally, our winner, Jere.
Hey, I am Swing Dingling, mostly on Twitter and Letterboxd, but also on Twitch, where I've been playing Persona 4 on Tuesday nights. So that's the best places to find me.
Absolutely. Go follow all of these wonderful people. They are all my favorites. I love them all. Once again, Amma Marfo, Arianna Magee, Jere Pilapil, Lloyd Legacy Sharp. I'm Nick Martucci. You can find me on all social media at Blundering Idiom. Find the show on Facebook, search Inappropriate Movie Database, or click the link in the description. Twitter and Instagram at IMDb Game. Like I said, gonna start booking for July soon. We do this show 2 times a week, Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want in, I want to have you. Reach out, look to that list. It's going to be so much fun. I love that I get to keep doing this show. I love that I get to keep having great people on this show. I want you to be in addition to it. So keep an eye out, like, subscribe, do all of that YouTuber stuff. Thank